it's me, Gabby from GoNaturalEnglish.com, and today we're learning 20 differences between native and non-native English speaking. Have you ever watched TV or movies in English and thought, this is different from what I learned in my English class? Then today is for you. Through these 20 points, you're going to learn to understand native English speaking much better and improve your own speaking to sound more like a native yourself. I'm going to go quickly through these 20 points, but if you'd like to learn more with me and our amazing premium course community, then I'd like to invite you to get more information about my complete English course, Fluent Communication. So go to GoNaturalEnglish.com/pre-reg. That's PREREG. Enter your name and your email address, and I will send you information about the course, how it works, the method, how to join, the price, and when course registration opens. So I will see you there. Make sure that you register if you are serious about improving your English fluency. First, we have slang. Slang words are often used by native speakers, but they're definitely not taught in traditional English classrooms. Words like lit to mean great, or snatched to mean impressed, or snack to mean an attractive person. Now, these are quite casual, but native speakers will use them when they're talking to friends. Next, idioms. Idioms like to be an early bird. It doesn't mean that you're literally a bird. It means that you like to wake up early. Or a fair weather friend means someone who is only your friend when it's convenient or beneficial for them. Proverbs like the early bird gets the worm, meaning if you're early, you'll be more successful. And when it rains, it pours. For example, if you're looking for a new job and you've been waiting forever to hear back from interviews, and then in one day you suddenly get 10 calls offering you jobs, well, that's when you could say when it rains, it pours. Phrasal verbs. Speaking of something that native speakers use all the time, we always use phrasal verbs like every day. And so phrasal verbs are very important, but again, they're not often taught in the English classroom, and English learners often stick to more familiar verbs. For example, to enter work instead of to get to work, to exit your work at the end of the day when you actually mean to get out of work, or to joke or to fool when you could say to pull one over on someone or to make fun of someone. This is just the tip of the iceberg with phrasal verbs. Sometimes it feels like a whole new language. Indirect requests. When someone says it's so hot, they could mean it's just so hot, but they could also mean indirectly, would you please turn on the air conditioning? And I've noticed that English learners often use more direct or literal English, and native English speakers will often be more indirect in their requests, even though English speakers can often be more direct culturally speaking. We'll give you our opinion. We often use indirect requests, especially when we're trying to be especially polite or respectful. Sarcasm. It's so hot could actually be used on a very cold day if someone is trying to be funny or sarcastic, saying that it is so cold that it is hot. Sarcasm is also indirect because the meaning is literally the opposite of what we say. Exaggeration. Native English speakers love to exaggerate. It's so hot out, I'm dying. This is also called hyperbole. When you say something like, I'm dying, I'm so hungry, I'm dying, I'm so hungry I could eat a horse. This is actually a common phrase, and it's not literal. I'm not going to actually eat a horse. What an awful idea. But we often use exaggeration and hyperbole to have a little fun with the language. The overuse of like and actually. It's like not actually a good thing. I don't recommend that you pick these up. However, you should be aware that native speakers often overuse the words like and actually simply as fillers. And furthermore, side note, actually does not mean what you think it might mean. We use actually to clarify information. Native English speakers often use intonation to completely change the meaning of a word or a sentence, to make it direct or sarcastic. So if I say interesting, that shows my interest and approval. But if I say interesting, that shows my disdain and disapproval. It's a simple difference in the intonation, but it can make all the difference in the meaning. Native English speakers will often completely change the meaning of a sentence by using phrase level stress. If I say it's not my job, well, we can probably understand that I just mean it's not my job. But if I say it's not my job, I am emphasizing, I am putting some drama into my communication. If I say it's not my job, I mean that it might be your job. It's clearly not mine. Or if I say it's not my job, it's just pure fun and pleasure for me. Double negatives. It's not my job, meaning that it really is your job. Or the phrase ain't nobody got time for that means no one has time for that. Tag questions. If I say it's not my job, is it? I expect you to say no, because my leading clause is negative. It's not my job. Oh, no, it's not. If I say it is my job, isn't it? I expect you to say yes, because my leading clause is in the positive. Gonna, wanna, shoulda, what you doing? These are examples of connected speech, and native English speakers often use them much more than English learners, just because it's not what you learned in the English classroom. In the English classroom, you often learn academic English or English for professional use. And these words are more casual, but they are still used in professional and academic environments. So you definitely want to be able to understand when native speakers use connected speech. And this is a huge key to sounding more natural yourself. Native speakers will often completely cut whole words out of sentences. Good talking to you, instead of it was good talking to you. So be aware of this. It's more of a matter of putting so much stress on keywords that the other ones just fall away. Thanks, congrats. You know, we often shorten longer words, especially when we're speaking more casually. And it's very common to say ya instead of you. If we're not stressing this word, if it's not the key pronoun in the sentence, we'll almost always say ya and not you. So now you know. Instead of yes, which is quite plain and formal, we'll often say yeah, for sure, totes, which is short for totally. Again, all of these shortened words are a bit more casual, so just be aware that if you're giving a super formal presentation, you might want to use the more traditional classic yes. Instead of you're welcome, native speakers will often say no prob, anytime, of course, don't worry about it, sure. No prob is short for no problem. Of course, keep in mind again that you're welcome is the classic and it's more professional. But again, native speakers will use these variations to have fun with the language. Instead of how are you? I am fine, thank you, and you, native speakers will say different variations like how's it going? What's up? How's everything? And the answer is almost never I'm fine, thanks, and you. It's probably great. I'm doing well, thank you, or thanks for asking, I'm great. There are lots of variations on this, so just don't expect native speakers to always say the classic, how are you? I am fine, thanks, and you. It is super unnatural. When I'm talking with my students, especially on the phone, it feels sometimes like something's missing, and it's not about fluency, it's actually about listening. Sometimes I wonder if they're still there because I don't hear anything when I'm speaking, and it's not because they've fallen asleep, it's because they're not using active listening, which is showing that you're understanding what your partner is saying, what your conversation partner is saying. And so we need to use words like, yeah, I see, to show that you're listening during a conversation. And native speakers make use of these a lot more than English learners. Fillers. I love learning fillers in different languages because it is the fastest way to sound like you're a native. Sounding like a native English speaker is not just about how fast you speak English or your understanding of grammar or how many vocabulary words you know. It's about all of these 20 secret points that we just reviewed together. Now, I want you to tell me, how do you know when someone is a native English speaker versus a non-native English speaker? Do you notice some differences between natives and non-natives speaking English that I didn't cover here? Share them in the comments. If you enjoyed this and you'd like to learn more English with GoNaturalEnglish.com, make sure that you pre-register for our complete English course at GoNaturalEnglish.com/pre-reg. You can click right over here and the link is also in the description. Thanks so much for watching. Have an amazing day. Bye for now.